Okay, so I've set up my station here for to prepare my pork chops. Got my 3 pork chops there. Got a cutting board. Now, best thing to use would probably be a paring knife, something small. You don't want to have a huge knife because you want to be able to manage this. So basically, what you're going to do is you're going to make an incision in the pork, and there's going to be some resistance there. There's a lot of I guess there'd be a lot of tissue and fibers, but you just want to go slow, and you want to try to keep it consistently in the middle. And yeah, the best thing to do would be take your time, because once you mess up the pork chop, I was almost going to swear there. I bet you caught that. But once you mess up the pork chop, you really can't go back. I mean, you can still make it work, but you certainly can't fix it. So you just want to get it started, and then you're just basically going to keep cutting through. I think for the first time, it probably would have been better to have the camera on this side, but either way, can't win. But you're just going to keep cutting through. You're just, in essence, you're making a pocket within here. You want to keep everything intact there, but you're just going to try to get yourself a pocket as far in there as you can. You can kind of see it's coming along there now. It's almost like you're making a something that will resemble a pita pocket, except for it will be with a big old piece of pork. Because the bigger the pocket, obviously the more filling you can get in there. The more filling you can get in, the more flavor there'll be. And if you're like me, the more you can cram into this, the better this little piece of pork will taste. Because for me, just having a piece of pork like that fried, that's pretty boring. You know, to others, I'm sure they love that, and no disrespect to the, the pork producers of the world, but it's, everybody has things they like and dislike. I'm not too keen on pork by itself. That's why I was glad when I came across this recipe, and I was more than happy to share this with my friends. So there. That's essentially what you're looking for. Now I'm going to repeat the steps with the 2 other pork chops I have, and then we'll come back with our stuffing, and we'll get these stuffed. Okay, my 3 pieces of pork have now been pocketed. As I mentioned in the last segment, shit will happen, but that's okay. I'm going to still make that work. If you're at the grocery store and you're picking out your pork, I would try to find the biggest, thickest pieces that you can find, just like this guy here. This one here, the first one I did, worked out perfect. I have my stuffing done. I've removed it from the heat. It's still warm, but at least if I touch it, I'm not going to hopefully burn my hand off. So basically, you're just going to add as much as you can into each piece of pork. Now, there's no set amount. I wish I could tell you, add a 1/4 cup or whatnot. I would just say add whatever you can, so that you can at least still close it up, because you're going to pan fry the pork. So at some point you're going to have to stop. I might have too much in this one, but we will see. But basically, it might be hard to see with the frying pan. If you got too much, I would say just let it fall out, but push it back down into a patty, or back into its its flat self. And again, if you lose any, no big deal. But there, got my first one done, or at least what I can do with it. And now I'm going to do the other 2, and we'll be off to the frying pan.
Little pig, let me in. By the hair of my chinny chin chin. Little pig,
And now we're back at the stove. So I got my pork chops ready. What I'm doing is now I'm getting this pan back up to a nice hot heat. I've taken the leftover stuffing and I've put it in this little cookie pan or baking pan, because I'm going to put my pork chops in here and throw them in the oven for a few minutes. Now I've got a pretty smoke and heat here. So one last thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to add a little pepper and a little salt to the outside of the pork chops, and then now I'm going to place them in this pan, which are, as you can see by the smoke and the sizzle, gets hot. And I'm probably going to lose some stuffing on it. I don't think there's going to be any way around it, because I was a little too liberal with the stuffing. But that's okay. I didn't want to add any more oil to the pan because I thought I already used too much for the stuffing, but I really can't afford to take any chances. If I don't add something to the pan, I'd be at risk that these would stick. These are going to be a bit delicate to flip to begin with, so I really want to make sure that I don't have to, fight with this to get them to flip to begin with. And I'm going to flip them, well, obviously the stuffings are all this way. I'm going to flip it this way just gently, so that way there I'll hit this side of the pork. Really only going to keep it on here about 3 minutes. I preheated my oven to about 300. Not that hot, because I'm going to do majority of the cooking here, and then I'm going to throw it in the oven just to kind of do a warm or a keep warm. So at this point it's just a matter of letting this brown, so I'll be keeping an eye on it. You could probably get away with putting a toothpick through this, but you would be at risk that the toothpick could break. It's, I don't know, I don't think it's something you could probably get away with, but you could certainly try. I've obviously been overzealous with my stuffing, but hey, that happens. So now I'm going to try to make a flip. I'll try with the big guy first, get him out of the way. Again, I'm just going to gently flip them over. Try to push back in anything I lost. That's not too bad. Good thing about it is the extras that you have, you could always stuff back in when it's done, when it's on the plate. Serve it on the side. So it's not a complete loss if you lose some of the stuffing. There we go. That one's nice and brown. And that guy's not looking too bad either. I'll try pushing down on them. Not only will that apply some pressure to the bottom, but just hopefully maybe I can get it to stay in that one position. So now we'll just leave this about 3-4 minutes this side, and you can't see it with the camera, but if you were here in person, you can kind of see through, and you can see that the inside's still pink. So I might even flip it one more time just to be on the safe side. I don't want any raw pork. I don't serve anything raw, as you probably remember from the steak episode. I definitely make sure that everything is, or try to make sure everything is cooked thoroughly. Me personally, there's nothing worse than raw meat. And, I'm sure there's probably a lot of health risks that go along with that too, so I'm sure people are probably thankful that there's no raw meat in the things I cook. Okay, I'm going to turn the heat down now. And I want to flip them back to the original side. Which again, as you can see, is not cooperating with me stuffing wise, but all that stuff we'll throw in the pan. You'll still be able to enjoy that. Now I'm going to, as I mentioned, turn the heat down, and I'm going to put the lid back on. This will create an oven, in essence. All the steam in there will stay inside the pan. It will help cook it thoroughly. This is the point where you probably could put it in the oven and bake it for a few minutes. I'm going to throw it in the oven just to keep it warm, because then when that's in the oven keeping warm, I will make the sauce, or make an attempt at the sauce, and I'll prepare my side dishes, or basically they're leftover side dishes from the night before, so that's why I'm not showing you any side dishes today. So just going to leave this for a couple minutes, and we'll get her into the oven. Alright, we still have quite a sizzle going here. I'm going to remove these from the pan. For the most part, these are just about done. The oven will finish off anything that's left, but for the most part they're brown. Everything appears to be white inside and out now. I'm going to get what I can of the stuffing and throw it in the pan. Because anything left behind now will just burn. I don't want to waste any of it. I definitely don't want to clean the pan, because I need the bits off of the bottom of the pan to help with the sauce. So this is going to go in the oven now. Just going to leave it on 250, 300, nothing too high. It's for the most part just to keep it warm. And now we'll get on to making a sauce. So here's our stuffed pork chops with a little bit of extra stuffing on the side. Now, I don't know if I want to call it fortunate or unfortunate, but somehow during the sauce stage, the camera stopped. I don't know if I paused it or if the battery died or what, but it stopped. And I think it was fortunate, because I wasn't being too successful in making the sauce, so I'm not going to include it. I have a little bit of pride in what I do, and the last thing I want to do is put on something that looked like shit, and it literally did. So I'm just going to go with the pork chops as is. So I'll scoop out the big guy that I've been working with, add him to my plate. Take a little bit of stuffing, put that there just for fun. Well, not for fun, but for flavor. Maybe I should flip that guy around so you can see it a little better. You can see inside I got the nice beautiful stuffing. My side dishes, that's just pureed turnip with some roasted garlic and butter, and then I got peas and corn there, nothing fancy. And I'll finish it off with just a piece of garlic toast. There we go. We got some pork, some stuffing, some stuffed pork, I guess you would say, some veg, and a piece of garlic toast. So there's my supper. I'm going to thank you again for watching the show, and look forward to some feedback. And I'm really going to have to make a better effort going forward to try to take my time with these episodes, because I'm now at the point where I'm starting to rush them. So. I think I'm losing focus and quality, and I hope that's not showing, but in my end it is. So, again, for another episode of Cooking with Cliff, thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.